Hi everyone, my name is Marissa. I am a certified personal trainer and future registered dietitian, and today we are going to be looking at Gabbie Hanna's past video called My Psycho Nutritionist. Yes, this video is from 3 years ago, and I didn't have a YouTube channel back then. Actually, I did have one, but I wasn't posting, and I didn't know the direction I wanted to go with my channel whatsoever. I remember watching this video and just being like, what the f? So I'm going to finally revisit it after all of this time, let you know some red flags that I see from this nutritionist, even maybe from her personal trainer, even things maybe that Gabbie says in the video that's incorrect. And I want to just provide some education on the topic of nutrition, the difference between nutritionists and dietitians, all of that good stuff in this video. Her video alone is 26 minutes, so I am anticipating this to be a fairly long video, so just bear with me. I'm super excited for this. Actually, I have been told I look like Gabbie Hanna. The first instance of that was in 7th grade, where a boy nearly crapped his pants because he thought I was her at our little charter school in Florida. So I have really enjoyed her content over the years, and I have seen the content she's been putting out lately, and I miss the old stuff I used to see from her. And so this is also kind of nostalgic for me going back. I actually watched a couple of her old videos from like 4 or 5 years ago just the other day, and I was like, damn, this was really great. I miss those days. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you are new, definitely subscribe. I do influencer workout reviews. Just here to educate and inspire and help you guys become confident in the gym, confident with your nutrition, all of that. I wish I could have a one-on-one conversation with every single one of you, but since I can't do that, this is the next best thing. So let's get started. First off, she puts a disclaimer in the beginning of her video that if you're sensitive to topics surrounding weight gain, weight loss, to skip this video. So I'm going to say the same exact thing. Feel free to skip this video. I will be diving into topics of nutrition and food restriction and things that may be sensitive to certain people. Definitely skip if you feel like it.
As a lot of you may know, the past 9 months of my life, I've been really focused and dedicated on getting my body to a place where I felt strong and confident. 9 months ago, I could have had a baby in that time, but I got a bicep. Anyway, I've been working with a trainer almost daily for 9 months, but when I started, I also had found a nutritionist. Some of you remember from my videos and my vlogs that I've been on a very, very long journey trying to figure out what I'm supposed to eat to get in shape, and I posted that super embarrassing vlog of me crying about my weight. So this time I found somebody who had a great resume and came highly, highly recommended to me by people who I knew in real life who had used him and had great results. So I had my first session with this guy, and it takes forever. It is so thorough. He's taking my blood, he's asking me questions about sleep, stress, digestion,
Okay, if he's taking her blood, that leads me to believe that he's qualified to do so. However, in certain states, the qualifications and the laws surrounding them are very different. I'm thinking this guy that she's talking about is actually a nutritionist, and they're two completely different things. Anybody can call themselves a nutritionist. Now, there are certified nutritionists, that people that take courses to learn about the practice. However, there are also people like wellness coaches, nutritionists that don't have any qualifications to speak of and just like the topic of nutrition or are passionate about it, but haven't taken it that step further to really solidify their education, which is very, very worrisome. And we'll find out in this video why that's so worrisome.
Things. It seems all super scientific and legit. At first impression of him as a person, this guy thinks very highly of himself. Either that or he's very insecure, because right away he's name-dropping celebrities who I've never heard of and saying things like, oh, it's a good thing that we started this now because I'm working on this new show and I'm not going to have time soon because my schedule's going to be crazy full. First appointment was also very, very stressful because we had scheduled 2 hours and I had to train right after my meeting. I gave myself an hour in between, and he went so far over his scheduled time that we didn't end until my training session started.
That's so unprofessional.
This was like 3 hours. And it was mostly filled with him talking about all of his accomplishments and asking me about my dating life. However,
that's so annoying. Any dietitian, nutritionist, when involved in counseling, because counseling is a huge part of the profession. That's like the the whole foundation is based on counseling. And the fact that he fills up that time talking about himself and not getting to know Gabbie and her needs and her goals is very concerning and a huge red flag right off the bat. It doesn't matter if he has the most amazing credentials. You can display it in your office, but don't spend the whole time just talking about that. It's ridiculous.
He was super friendly, super enthusiastic, and he really seemed to know what he was doing. And like I said, he came to be highly recommended by people that I actually knew, and he had a great resume.
Also, I know we haven't really gotten that far in the video yet, but I have a lot to say about this dude. I don't know who he actually is, but when it comes to using scientific jargon, a lot of people think that other people know what they're talking about when they use a lot of scientific words, maybe even some buzzwords in there to make it seem like they know what they're talking about. And in some cases they do, but you really know that a person knows what they're talking about when they are able to take the super complex terms and simplify it in a way that the common individual would understand. So if he's just spewing out all these complexities left and right and not explaining them and breaking them down and talking slowly so that she can understand it, she may think in her head, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about, but I don't know what the heck he's talking about. And that's not good. When it comes to seeing a nutritionist, seeing a personal trainer, you want them to be able to simplify the process for you so that you understand it, because if you don't understand it, you're gonna walk away with essentially nothing.
So I was all in. He also makes me feel really good by saying things like, you already look great, but let's get you feeling great. Which is
I agree with that.
you want in a health professional. However, I will say that there were moments right away that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like with his compliments, sometimes he would use the words sexy or babe, which as like a younger female in that type of setting is ugh. But the one moment that really stuck out to me at the time, but now in hindsight makes me feel so much more uncomfortable, was, okay, in the first session, they usually take your body fat percentage and they use this little pincher thing where they squeeze your fat, and he needed to squeeze my arm, but I was wearing a jacket like this with just a bra underneath. So when he asked me to get to my arm, I didn't even think twice about it. I just unzipped it and pulled it down on one side, and that seemed like the normal thing to do because I'm in a professional setting for my health. Things get kind of personal, and I'm an adult, so I don't get awkward about those things. So I take my sleeve down, and he goes,
or he can do it over the clothing, he just has to subtract the amount of fabric. I think there's a certain number that you have to subtract if you are doing a measurement over clothing. So she didn't have to do that. It doesn't seem like he asked her to do that, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Goes, whoa, okay. And I was like, oh, sorry, you said you needed my arm. And he responded with, oh yeah, totally, you can take that off. I'm a doctor. This isn't the story, by the way. This is just me giving you a background. So
is he a doctor?
I have a text from him with my daily affirmation. I control the outcome. I'm excited. Today is the first day of my new lifestyle. Unfortunately, pretty much right away, I start feeling really hungry all the time. And that's weird because I was eating more calories than I have ever eaten by a lot. So this was a concern I kept bringing up, and I was like, hey man, I just ate like 40 minutes ago and I'm ravenous. What's up? And he would say something scientific like, oh, your blood sugar's low, eat some berries, or you're acidic, eat some rice. And I'd be like, no dude, I'm hungry, I want to eat some french fries. Then I started gaining weight. My trainer noticed, as did I, because I'm very sensitive to these things, and I noticed if I gain a 1/12 of an ounce. So my trainer asked me what I was eating, and I told him that I was eating a cup of white rice a day with my lunch, as per my nutritionist. So my trainer said, whoa, man, you should not be doing that. And to be honest, when I first met with my nutritionist, I was very surprised that he had me eating so much white rice and eating rice cakes and things like that, because I was always under the impression that simple carbs like that weren't great for weight loss. So
okay, it must be so frustrating to have a nutritionist telling you one thing and a personal trainer telling you another thing, especially because you're paying for both services. So when you're getting conflicting information, super frustrating on her end, I can only imagine. If she was eating way more simple carbs than usual and not having enough protein, enough fat to balance it out, I can see why she's getting hungrier. Carbs alone do a very poor job of filling you up. Well, maybe they'll fill you up, but they won't keep you full for a long period of time. Like she said, 40 minutes and she was ready to eat again, which makes a lot of sense. So it's not that you can't eat the white rice, you just want to make sure there's balance there. I don't know what the exact plan was for her, but Yikes.
So my trainer tried to explain to me that eating white rice would not only make me gain weight, but it would also make me hungry and give me cravings because it spikes my insulin or something sciencey. Honestly, I don't know.
See, something sciencey she doesn't know and she doesn't remember, probably because he didn't simplify it. So that's really frustrating. Also, him saying that the personal trainer, now we're talking about the personal trainer, oh my gosh. So he should not have said that rice is going to make you gain weight. It's not going to make you gain weight. Being in a calorie surplus makes you gain weight. So if this nutritionist put her in a calorie surplus, it's not just because of the rice, it's just because of the calories. So rice doesn't make you gain weight.
This seems like a very useless, mundane fact, but I promise it is so important about the rice. So I'm gaining weight, which really sucks because, I'm trying to lose weight and I'm getting really emotionally f***ed up because I'm working my ass off every day in the gym. I set a goal for myself. I'm hungry all the time and I look worse than when I started. So I tell my nutritionist, hey, I'm getting bigger. And his response was that it was good that I was mushier because the lipids in my body are breaking down and science. I told him, hey,
science. That's it?
my waist is up 2 inches and I'm up 2 pounds. And he convinced me that it was because I'm a woman and this will happen to me every month, which to some degree, by the way, is true. Did you know that a woman can gain up to 7 pounds a month during her cycle? My trainer has said the same thing. So I was like, okay, I'm just starting off. This is a little bump in the road. I'm gonna trust this professional. But in my heart, I knew, because I've known my body and how it reacts for like 12 years-ish, that this was not just hormonal weight gain. So I brought up the rice concerns that my trainer had brought up, and he said, no, trust me, your trainer's great at what he does, I'm great at what I do. The food that you're eating and the combinations and amounts that you're eating them will make you lose weight. You just have to stick with it and eat more snacks. He also told me that I need to work out less. At this time, I was weight training 5 days a week with cardio and then doing just cardio my other 2 days of the week. And he told me that I should not be working out more than 4 times a week.
Okay. She was very likely overdoing it on exercise, which will impact your hormones, and that could also impact your hunger, your satiety, everything to do with that. I can understand why the nutritionist said to work out less. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to work out only 4 days a week, but if she's doing resistance training 5 days plus cardio on the other 2 days, she's not giving herself a break, and that could actually be counterproductive to her goals. She could have been seeing weight gain that way just because of her hormonal fluctuations. Plus, if she was on her period, I don't know. Let's see where this goes.
Because it'll make me gain weight and hold on to fat because science. So, to summarize, so far, I am gaining weight and my nutritionist told me to eat more and exercise less.
Actually, eating more and exercising less in certain cases, if done right, will actually help you see results, but totally depends how you're doing it. Oh boy.
At this point, you may already be asking, Gab, you're gaining weight, you're unhappy, why are you continuing to work with this individual? And the truth is, I wanted to trust a professional. You guys have watched me struggle. You've seen me cry. I've tried everything there is to try. I should write a poetry book. Even though this all seemed kind of weird and backwards to me, I told myself, hey, you've been trying to figure this out on your own for 15 years. You don't know everything, and clearly what you think is right isn't working. Trust him. But this video isn't about my weight, friends. That wouldn't be a story time. The story's coming. So my trust in this person is dwindling very quickly. I keep telling him that I'm hungry nonstop, and he asks me what I eat, and I give him the same answer 12 times in a row. Literally, the conversation goes, I'm still hungry. What did you eat for a snack? Nut butter and fruit. What'd you eat for lunch? Rice, chicken, and spinach. Interesting. What did you eat for a snack? Nut, butter, and fruit. That's so strange. Don't worry. Trust the process. Are you eating your nut butter and fruit? Then he asked me what protein powder I'm using, and I've been using the same protein powder for 2 years as recommended to me by my old trainer, to which he responded, throw it in the trash. That brand is garbage, and buy this brand that he's recommending. He said that my protein powder was full of additives and chemicals and bullshit, and it's making me gain weight. So then
I can attest to there being a lot of crappy brands of protein powder out there. I have actually been on calls with my clients, asking them what protein powder they use, them telling me cringing a little bit, and then referring them to better brands, more clean brands. but I would never tell them to throw it away. That's money. You may as well use it. And it's protein either way. Some of them have some garbage ingredients that are unnecessary, but at least use it up. That's a little bit dramatic to just say throw it away, especially because that's money down the drain.
And his protein powder that he recommended came in the mail, and I turned it over and I read the ingredients, and the first ingredient was corn syrup, aka the worst thing that you could put in your body if you were trying to lose weight or not die. Oh.
I don't know about that one. That's a little extreme. Corn syrup is just sugar in a different way. There's different combinations of sugar. There's glucose, fructose, galactose, lactose. There's many different kinds of sugar, and corn syrup is just a different combination of said sugars. Corn is one of the top genetically modified foods in the United States, but other than that, I don't really see the huge concern.
Followed by a list of about 1 million additives and ingredients and chemicals. So I texted him and I was like, why did you recommend to me a protein powder where the first ingredient is corn syrup? And he responded with, what? Corn syrup? Yeah, you can't eat that. Dude, you're a nutritionist. Your job is to recommend foods to people. Why the would you recommend something to a client and you don't even know what's in it? Mind you, I sent him the label of my protein powder that he said to throw away because it's full of trash. And he said, oh yeah, that's good. You can eat that. So I asked him to please explain why he told me I couldn't eat it in the first place. And he said, I assumed it was crap.
This is stressing me out, man.
So I said, you mean to tell me that you blindly told me to throw away something that I was using, that you had no idea what was in it, and then had me buy a new one that you had no idea what was in it? Huh? And then he asked me if I was on my period. I was. And he said, this is good because now I know how crazy you get when you're hormonal.
What the
90% of my clientele is female. This still isn't the story, by the way, I'm just venting. So I'm still gaining weight. And at this point, after I break down crying after a weigh-in at the gym, my trainer tells me, listen, I know you want to trust this guy, but your diet is wrong. You're eating 6 to 7 times a day, way too much, and of the wrong foods. You should be slimming down, and you're bloating up. And I think, yeah. He's right. So once again, I go to my nutritionist, who I so desperately need, and once again say, hey, I'm gaining weight, dude. And he, out of the blue, says, we need to cut the rice. It's too simple of a carb and stripped of all its nutrients. It's just sugar.
That's true.
And I was like, huh? For 3 weeks, I've been guzzling white rice against my own instinct and other professional opinions, was recommended a 5-pound tin of corn syrup and have gotten further from my goal. So I'm pleading with him. Why? 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 If white rice is a simple carb and makes you gain weight, did you insist on me eating it for 3 weeks after I told you that I was getting bigger? And he said, because I wanted you to fix your intestinal issues first. That's more important than weight loss.
Okay, if that were the case, why did he not disclose that to her in the first place?
I came to you for weight loss. What? Then he asked me if he could take a picture of me because I looked so much better. And I said okay, because it's awkward. So he takes the picture of me and he goes, look at those legs. Pretended to eat me on the phone. This still isn't the story, so I suggest maybe I should just kind of give up on this plan. And I know that he's had a lot of results with people in the past, but everybody's different and this just isn't working for me. And he says, no, you just need the right nutrients. So he recommends all of these vitamins. And I'm like, hey man, isn't a big part of having good nutrition not needing all of this shit? I'm talking, how many bottles? Here are some of the pills that he tells me if I take all of these every day, I won't feel hungry anymore. So I spent a couple $100 on vitamins that I was super opposed to because it felt wrong. But
it does feel wrong because you can get a lot of great vitamins and minerals in your food to the point where you don't need excessive vitamin and mineral supplements.
He was like, please, let's just give this one more chance. Just try this. You'll stop having cravings. Your body and hormones are all out of whack. We need to get you where you need. So they get to me, and I'm looking at all doses, and I'm realizing it's 18 pills a day. So I texted him, I'm like, yo, man,
stupid.
you have me taking 18 pills a day. And he said, yeah, it'll help you with your hunger. And I'm like, no shit. I'm swallowing 18 pills. That's a meal. Then I'm reading the back, and I'm realizing that a lot of them are repeats. Like I have this woman's pack that you take every day that has D3 in it, but then he also made me get a bottle of D3. So I said, why did you make me buy the same thing twice? I'm just going to pee it out. Like if your body doesn't need the vitamins you're putting in it, it doesn't use them. It's not like you...
True, except for fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. You do not want to overdo it on those in specific because they go straight into your lymph system. However, we have discovered recently that it's really hard to overdose on vitamin D, which is good. We need vitamins, essentially a lot of the B vitamins, for cellular energy. But you know what we also need for energy? Macronutrients. Specifically carbohydrates. So she needs to make sure that she's eating enough carbs along with a lot of vitamins and minerals. But again, you can get that in your food, so I don't know why anybody would ever need to take 18 vitamins and minerals a day in supplement form. Get it in the food. He could write an effective plan for her. If she can spend all of that money on supplements, she could definitely spend it on better food or more food instead.
Basically respond with, well, people don't smoke weed to get healthy, they smoke weed for leisure, okay? And then I respond with this really long text basically saying, hey, honestly, I don't trust this process anymore. I was guzzling rice for 3 weeks, and then you told me that I shouldn't be eating rice. You recommended a product to me that was full of cornstarch. I'm hungry all the time. I have anxiety. You have me eating 18 pills a day. He just responds with, when are you coming in? And I said, I don't know. He says, I have no idea why it's not working for you. I've worked with thousands of people. I was addressing your intestinal issues first, which is far more important. And then he starts rapid fire texting me with bullet points, and people should not expect an 8-week miracle transformation when they've been struggling with weight their entire life. You have to heal from the inside out first. I understand vanity. We all want to look good, but I'm doing what's best for you. I also want to make a side note again and just say that when I reached out to him initially, it's because I was doing an 8-week body transformation where I reached out to a trainer and a nutritionist to see what I could do in 8 weeks and just jumpstart a process. So he knew from the jump that I was trying to do something in 8 weeks in a healthy way. And his goal from the beginning too was measurements, weight, how do you look? We're going to show people how good you can look in 8 weeks. So for him to be saying all this now is just very...
He should have let her know that while you can see some results in 8 weeks, it's about the long haul, it's about the long-term goal. Constantly having a short-term mindset is not going to get you very far with health and fitness. So if he was concerned about it, he should have brought that up in the beginning.
So I don't answer him, and he says, when are you coming in? I have to schedule you. And I ignored him. Then he texts me the next day and says, I still love you, Gabbie. I don't. He then sends me an Instagram picture of a random woman who I'm assuming is a client, and body's pretty good. I said, bro, I'm trying to film. Because at this point he has texted me 10 images and videos of...
How could somebody like that has a lot of qualifications be that unprofessional though? That leads me to believe he doesn't really have a lot of good qualifications, that he's just a nutritionist, like he slapped that label on himself. And in California, you can do that.
Again, I ignore him. He says, I have Thursday 10 a.m. available. We need to get you in. I ignore him. Gabbie, when are we meeting? I said, IDK. He said, okay, what times do you have available? Friday at 12, Thursday at 12, Thursday at 10? Ignore him. Gabbie, what's going on? Is everything good? I'm trying to help you. What can I do better? I said, those things don't work.
If this man was working with that many people like he claimed, he would not be spamming her. That's all I'm gonna say.
He said, what day can you do next week or Sunday? I don't answer. He says, are you quitting on me? I say, listen, I'm very busy at the moment, and I'm also feeling that maybe it's just not super working out, and wondering if it makes sense for both of us to continue. He said, I really want to help you, and that's all.
This feels like a breakup.
I want to do. I shouldn't argue with you. That's not what I'm trying to do. There is a lot of miscommunication in text. I want you to learn so you can have this gift of knowledge over your body for life. I've just been able to help everyone. We should see it through. I would never give up on anyone. What you're doing is super hard with your stress and schedule. I won't add to your stress. I legit do care about your well-being. How many weeks are left? Will you make time to talk tomorrow for 5 minutes? Let's see what I can do to serve you better. Don't answer. I know you're busy, but don't leave me hanging. I say again, I just think that this isn't going to work out. This still isn't the story. This is the story. My trainer gives me a call. Gabbie, are you still working with that nutritionist? I said no. And he said, make sure you never do again. I said, why? He said, I'll show you when you come in. So my trainer says, this woman texts me, and this is the conversation. She says, are you working with that YouTube girl, Gabbie? He ignores her. She texts him again. Hey, just checking to see if you've got my text. I would like to ask you something. Thanks. He responds, what's up? Yes, I am training her. Someone else is doing her nutrition. She says, apparently you and my nutritionist share the same client, Gabbie Hanna. Is she being a handful for you? He's amazing. He helped me a great deal. He cares very much for all of his clients. He really takes the time to understand them and provide individual programs. You two should talk. He would be a great referral source. I would love to introduce you guys. He says, please don't. She is great to work with. She responds, he is really good at what he does. I really think you should at least meet with him and listen to what he has to say. I'm sure Gabbie is great, but he is too. I think that you would like him. At least hear him out. I wanted to introduce you guys for a while, but I have been super busy. And I think if you would have met previously, things would be different. First of all, get this. I'm working with a nutritionist. He's doing a bad job, and I'm gaining weight. The second I stopped following his plan, I dropped inches and pounds and started looking amazing, and my confidence is skyrocketing, and he can't handle it. So he goes out of his way to contact somebody who works with somebody I work with to tell them that they should collect.
Again, he wouldn't be wasting all this energy if he was busy and his schedule was full of consultations and he had tons and tons of clients. So this guy seems like a huge liar in more ways than one.
Whatever. They should work together, and I'm the bad guy. Just because I didn't want to work with this guy who was A, bad at his job, for me at least, B, inappropriate and unprofessional with me and cross lines, and C, just rude. I tried to tell him kindly in office and over text, I just don't think this is working out, which happens sometimes. Sometimes you find a doctor or somebody who just isn't good for you. I've met with a lot of nutritionists in the past. I've had other trainers in the past and it didn't work, and now I'm with a trainer who I look good, I feel good. I mean, look at it, I look great. You just have to find what works for you, and he took it as a huge hit. He took it very personally. I think he was really excited for the exposure because we were doing it as a collaboration, and he couldn't handle losing it. But as a professional, a healthcare professional, to reach out to a stranger who I've never met about one of your clients who you have confidentiality with.
By the way, if he's just a nutritionist with no credentials, he is not a healthcare worker.
You can't talk to people about your patients and your clients. It's not only unprofessional, it's illegal. And to try to ruin my relationship with somebody who I have a great relationship with, it's bonkers. I never say anything to him about this because it's just weird, and why would I? So then he ends up reaching out to me a month later, the nutritionist. He doesn't know that I know any of this. And he says, I've been meaning to message you for a while. I totally respect your decision, Gabbie. It was my pride that was damaged. You're awesome and a lot of fun. I really want you to succeed, be healthy, and get everything you want, no matter with whom you work with. Can't wait to see the new you. If you ever need anything from me, please don't hesitate to reach out. I don't, bitch. How dare you talk about a client to another client?
All right, I hope this serves as a lesson to you guys to really recognize red flags and follow your gut. I feel like if she followed her gut in the beginning, she wouldn't have dealt with the events that followed. That's what happens when you put your trust into a professional that's not really professional. Be careful with who you trust with your medical information, with your personal information to do with health and fitness. When you get to that point where you are talking to someone about your health and fitness, about your goals and aspirations, that's a really vulnerable place you put yourself in. Just make sure that that information is with the right person. And sometimes it's hard to know until you dodge some bullets and learn from your mistakes, learn from their mistakes. It's kind of like dating. Like you find some people that are amazing on the outside that turn out being not right for you. And the same thing happens in the health and fitness world. If you got value out of this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I will be making plenty more videos like this in the future. I love you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you later.